Okay, on today's topic, we're delving into the subject of talking about social media, man. Something that we all use. I mean, hell, I'm using it literally right now, man. But we're going to get into it to answer the question, man. Are we being programmed by this whole setup of social media, man? Because back in the days, I don't know if any of you are old enough like me to remember, uh, that you would usually have to give an effort to go to the library. You would have to read a newspaper. You would actually have to read a finished work of an author who wrote the book or the videotape or the cassettes and different things like that. So social media has taken away from everyday people the effort of actually going seeking it out. You know what I'm saying? It's that convenience thing that really bothers me about social media, man, because I honestly think, in my opinion, man, it's why is everything so convenient? I mean, we don't have to work for anything, dude. So when I'm talking about programming, I'm talking about along these lines, man, because not just affecting, man, those of us who are older, but it's really taking a hold on the youth, man. It's taking a hold on how they process information, how you think, different things like that. So we're gonna get into some reactions, man, and listen to people's perspective. Let me slow down. Listen to people's perspective on this particular subject, because working class, middle class people, listen, we need to get our mind back. We need to own our own thoughts, man. And I don't think anybody out there really, I don't think most people out there really consider that your mind is not even your own anymore, because they've taken away effort. They've taken away you going the extra mile to seek out something, to the something that corresponds to this, is like, the convenience of Uber Eats and these gig apps, man, that bring everything to your house, man. It's like something about social media just don't smell right to me, and I'm wondering, do you smell the same fragrance too? Because my generation coming up, we would have to go out of the house practically for everything. We did everything out of the house. But this new generation, man, we need to watch out, and we need to really be looking at social media, man, because it's good in many cases, which we're going to see and I'll talk about later on in the video. But it's good, but there are some other parts of it, man, that when I look at how it's affecting us and our mental health and different things like that, it's like you got to question it. You got to stop and critically think, you know, should I continue being able to hold my phone and get any information I want to in the world, talk to anybody in the world, no matter what country you in, I can connect with you just by this phone. It's like, nobody's valuing effort. Nobody's valuing the adventure, being able to go and seek out something, to travel through this world, man, to find the jewels and the treasures, to actually dig. They're robbing us, man, and I'm hoping, man, that you can feel what I'm feeling, man. But let's get into this reaction, listening to different people's perspective, man, and I'll come back later on in the video and we'll talk about it.
Research shows that constant exposure to negative content creates increased depression and anxiety, reduced self-worth through social comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. Remember, it creates a distorted reality. If you want to be successful in business or whatever, everybody just doesn't come out of the womb and all of a sudden they're successful. It doesn't work like that. But social media will make you think that that's the way it is.
I don't think people realize that we're literally being programmed from the time we get to school to the time we graduate college. And then even after that, we are literally conditioned. Social media, TV, the music we listen to, it is all programming you to think and live a certain way, to buy into consumerism. Most of us literally work our entire lives just to get by, just to survive. We literally go to school for 12 years of our life. You graduate school and then they tell you to go to college. You could be in college from anywhere from 4 to 8 years, okay, depending on the field that you choose. And then from there, they want you to go and get a job, and then you live paycheck to paycheck trying to pay back all the debt that you just spent putting yourself in school. You're not even guaranteed to get the career that you studied for, going in debt just to hopefully secure that position. Like, we are literally being programmed from the minute we are born to the minute we die. If you're not living for God, like, you are going to be a slave to the matrix. Wake up. Follow Jesus. He is your freedom. He is your way out. Fear is what keeps a lot of us just stuck in this slavery mentality. Just wish people would wake up and realize that this world is under control of the evil one. The more
social media is being weaponized. This is the new weapon that is happening because of psychological warfare. It's no longer like military action that we think of, right? They're using this to control nations and to control the youth, because they know if they can control the way that you think, the way that you act, the way that you feel, they can control you for years to come and make you do whatever it is that they want to do. This is why you have to search things with intention, right? Because when you're endlessly scrolling, they know exactly how to get you. They know exactly what to put in front of you. None of this stuff is random. They do it on purpose. So when you start seeking things with intention, that's when you start to wake up. This is when you start to understand what's really going on. Just think of TikTok earlier on in the years. When you were searching things, it was always stuff that was telling you about what exactly was going on. But once they started trying to control it, everybody algorithms changed, right? And everything just felt useless. No education. This is where everybody has to wake up.
Genuinely feels like the internet is in mass psychosis these days. Every time I log onto TikTok, or any social media platform to be honest, I see so much discourse about things that I'd never hear of or never think about in real life. There's an overwhelming feeling and energy of misery on here. And I think TikTok is truly an echo chamber for overwhelming negativity. And because so many of us feel so hopeless about the world, we allow the algorithm to spoon feed us more and more misery. Almost feels like there's no choice to log off. But when you do put your phone down, you take a bit of a social media detox, you'll find that you are intentionally feeding yourself misery and negativity, and that a lot of things in your reality don't actually reflect that. But since human beings seem to gravitate towards negativity, of course the algorithm knows this. So that's why they're feeding it to you. They know that negativity will keep you on the app for much longer than anything positive. They don't want you to leave the app under any circumstances. That's how this app behaves. That's how all social media behaves. They gain nothing from you logging off, but they gain absolutely everything from you feeling like you have no choice to log off.
Don't think social media is a real place because, like, so much of what you see is curated to what you've liked or seen or you've said.
The algorithm,
Yeah,
basically.
like the algorithm. A lot of people aren't getting views because a lot of people like them. Like, it's proven that certain algorithms promote negativity on social sites. You know what I'm saying? So if I say something positive, trying to positively influence others, it won't be that gets pushed. That's usually what gets the most comments, I've noticed. I've seen people hate share.
What about people that have like positive followings, like people like pastors and people
Like, it's not a real place, I'm saying, because there's workings going on behind it that decides this is what needs to come out. This is what.
So basically, like you're saying, manipulation and
There is, because I could pay to sponsor something.
The fall of negative.
So anyway, let me comment on that right there, man. I truly believe that the algorithm loves controversy, drama, conspiracies, murder, unsolvable problems, man. And I covered this before, middle class people, man, working class people, man, we have been sent down so many rabbit holes of unsolvable things, man, like the current one. You look at the Epstein files, or you look at the Puff Daddy case, unsolvable things, man. It's like they program us to jump out of our life and jump into somebody else's life, and when you get on social media and you're talking about Epstein, or you're talking about the new drama or conspiracy, or what's going on in Iraq, what's going on in Antarctica, what's going on in this place that you don't have no access to even get over there. So everything that everybody's saying, it's just speculation, because if I wanted to find out if somebody was lying about the price of Walmart's, cereal or produce, I could just go to a Walmart, man. I can literally get in my car, go to Walmart. Can you go to Antarctica? Can you go to the dark side of the moon? Can you go to Epstein Island? No, but you can get on social media and you can put that content out, share it with others, get everybody talking and all this stuff. And the algorithm, man, will reward you for disseminating information that nobody can do nothing with. Absolutely nothing with, man. It's still traffickers and different things that's going on, and it's happening right now, man, in many neighborhoods. While you're looking over there at that island, it's still going on, man. So is it programming, man, or is it just people's ability to accept the delusion? Let's go.
Of social media influencers, and this includes news stations. And I'm specifically talking about the ones fueling our enemy's agenda, which is the destruction of the black community and the dismantling of all families. So our families and communities can never come together to go against their family that infiltrated the American government. We got the Pop the Balloon, 50-50, black men versus black women, black on black crime, Zeus Network, etc. I could go on all day long. You see, when they target the black community, it alters reality because we control it with our minds. If you haven't noticed, everything that started in the black community slowly dripped into everyone else's communities, even though they're not living the same reality we are living. For instance, a majority of black community households make less than $70K a year. And keep in mind, I just said household, meaning more than one person. They're struggling and always have been. Now we got households coming online and getting paid for making the same complaints those families are making. But the twist is their households is making $150,000 to $250,000 a year. Like, how's it fair? They're getting paid for that video, knowing they're making that amount of money. So the ones that's truly struggling don't even get the reach, so they don't even get paid. And them getting paid could really change their situation versus the others when it's really just extra money, because I don't know what they could be possibly spending all that money on if these families making less than $70K a year can make it, while they're literally making over twice as much. Then we got the people that love triggering lies and drama. They be going super viral because it distracts you from seeing what's really happening right there in your face. Then you got people like me that love the truth and peace. They'll do everything they can to try to suppress the truth because they know without it, you can't even reach peace.
To be that women are this.
I wonder, did y'all hear that? They're trying to suppress truth. They're trying to suppress critical thinking. They're trying to suppress anybody that will question the factions and the processes of government, and they're trying to suppress all of this, man. And they're doing so much evil that they're trying to cover it up with some form of trauma bonding or some form of a big event concert. You even look at the halftime show with Bad Bunny. It's like there was a lot of symbolism just in that halftime show in a football game. So they compile all of this stuff together to where you can be looking at a demonic ceremony going on right in your face, which I did, and had no idea what none of this stuff meant, man, because they use certain programming techniques, man, to blind the unsuspecting, man, regular people like you and I, and it's right in front of our face, man. We got to want the truth, man. Not the truth where it's stemming from a place of revenge, man. That's not truth, man. You after you get your revenge, then what? You know, truth is something, man, that brings life back to humanity, man. It sets humanity free, man. So what this guy was saying, spot on. But hey, take a listen to it again, man. Tell me what you think.
Playing more sexuality to draw men in than men doing that to draw women in. I mean, are y'all preying on our weakness?
Well, a lot of women, again, have no idea what they're doing. You got to understand. No. See, one of the greatest tools to brainwashing and controlling the nation is to make people think that their decisions and their behaviors are their choices. When you already have made the choice for them, you give them the illusion that they're making their own choices. Most people, they're rolling on autopilot and they're rolling off of social programming. So you're dealing with women who listen to hip hop music. They're bombarded with all of this entertainment, right? All of that has an effect on people's behavioral patterns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so none of these women have critical thinking abilities. They're only responding to stimuli and copying what they see that's in front of them.
It seems to be that women are displaying.
Every time you scroll, you are subjecting yourself to the most advanced AI-driven behavioral conditioning system in human history that not only shapes your basic perception of reality, but also rewires your brain at the neural level. In case you weren't aware, every time you scroll, there is an AI algorithm deciding what post you see next, and it does not have your best interest in mind. It is trying to maximize engagement and watch time, so it's going to show you the thing that gets the biggest emotional reaction out of you. And so when you mindlessly scroll, you are completely giving up your free will with the way that you want to feel based on whatever emotion the algorithm is throwing at you. And not only this, it is also curating every bit of information that you receive. With AI, it is now feasible that each feed could be personally tailored to very specifically nudge each person or even entire communities into very specific points of view. In his book Brainwash, Dr. David Perlmutter argues that the constant emotional stimulation and the effortless dopamine from social media result in a disconnection syndrome in your brain, or the weakening of the neural circuits between your prefrontal cortex and your limbic system. Your prefrontal cortex controls your rational decision making, and your limbic system controls your emotional reactivity. And so when the two are disconnected, you become highly emotionally volatile and impulsive, you become more anxious, and you actually lose empathy for other people and lose the ability to make good long-term decisions. So social media is simultaneously programming you and rotting your brain. So the solution is to take back your free will. You should try to never mindlessly scroll again. If you like a specific person's videos, look them up and watch them. Don't subject yourself to an algorithm that is trying to suck your soul. I'm a neuroscience student, and I tell you all the ways that your brain power is being hijacked. If you want to learn more, follow and peace.
Social media does three really dangerous things to people. It leads to social comparison. It leads to loneliness because people are having more fun than you with more interesting people than you know. And it leads to hatred because it fires you up in the us versus them tribal mentality. Those three things are really bad. Social media should be used really for two things: communication and learning. That's when it's really useful. If you're scrolling, comparing yourself to other people, watching a ton of political or activist content, looking at people having a way more fun time than you're wasting your life, and social media is making you worse off. You got to live life in real life.
So I also looked up, just a quick study, on YouTube, man, just to give some basis and some references to where I'm going, with this, which, if you just watch those reaction, you already picked up what I put down, but people are reporting, man, that social media correlates with mental health stuff, it shows, like the guy said, social media gives you a chance to project a fake life, man. You show people the best of whatever that's going on, or you can show them the worst that's going on, because I've seen social media influencers, man, that their whole channel is just the train wreck of their life, man. But it's like, okay, well, how is that helping? So social media, 80%, let's just go with this, 80% have reported that let me find this because I can't see it on my screen. So let me look. So 80% reported that it's easier to be deceived by others that share their social media. So 80% of people reported that, man, it's very easy for people to be fake rich. It's easy for people to be fake successful. It's easy for people to be believable when they share their social media, because the fact of the matter is, with AI, chat GPT, those types of things, oh, you can curate and fake a life, and just, you could, where are the real people at? Okay, 60% has reported their impact on self-esteem uh, has turned negative. 60% says social media, has turned their self-esteem towards themselves is negative. I can't tell you how many things come on my feed that says 9 to 5 is a joke, middle class is dead, you're trapped, you're stuck, I can't tell you how many. And it's like, as a working class, middle class person, my number one job is to try to make the best life I can for myself and my family, man, to impact my community in a positive way, and my self esteem is attacked all the time, simply because there is always something on social media that says you're not enough and you're not doing enough, right? So 50% reported social media has negative effects on their relationship. So 50% of people say, you having negative effects on my relationships. Look at all the channels that emphasize who broke up, who got divorced, who married somebody, this football player to get their money, who scammed, who did. It's like, everybody's single. There's no good women. There's no good men. The disease is rampant. I mean, stay set. It's like, oh my God. It's such an attack on relationships, man. Getting people to believe and have the courage to say, there's still somebody out there for me, and if not, that doesn't mean anything wrong with me. That just means that you just haven't found it, or you may be in a different headspace in your life. You understand what I'm saying? So social media has literally programmed us and took away the effort of trying, the effort of actually giving, the energy to actually go and seek it out. Back in the days, you would have to go to the library. Do you anybody remember the Dewey Decimal System? We would have to go and look up stuff in encyclopedias and different things. And social media has taken that away. Nobody is living a real life. And it's interesting that the people who made it out of middle class, let's say you a millionaire or whatever, they come back to the same people that they left, talking different, talking like, oh man, I have some hack or secret that you don't have, and I'm smart, you're stupid, type of feeling, man. We really got to stay guarded when it comes to social media, because they always take something good and corrupt it. They always take something that can actually breathe life into humanity and go the whole other direction with it, man. Go the whole other direction. So listen to those reactions that I said. Hey, man, like you see the young people up here, get your head out your phone, actually make eye contact with somebody, actually have the courage to have a face-to-face conversation instead of texting, instead of sliding in somebody's DMs and all this type of nonsense. Man, just the way that I talk, and if you looked at any of my content, I feel tremendously old. I feel like I don't even know how I am in this time. I don't know how that I fit in this generation at all, because I'm just not fit, man, because I like talking to people face to face, man. I like dealing with problems, man, and working it out, man, person to person. I actually like doing that. And social media is taking away that connectivity from one human to another. And if you don't individually get a hold of it in your life, you're going to find that all of your friends are pretend friends. You're going to brag about how many subscribers you have. You're going to brag about how much engagement and comments and all this stuff. And it's going to puff you up to say, oh man, the world listen to me. But let me ask you this question. Do they even know you? Do they really know you? Or do they agree with one little small little faction of your life or your perspective that you're putting out there? They may agree with that one small thing, but then they throw away the rest of you. We cannot be afraid anymore to be 100% human being. Especially with all this cloning stuff going on, man. Human beings, you better stand up and not take for granted being in this body, because apparently, there's some different stuff walking around, but that's a whole nother episode. Hey, thank you for joining me on this reaction, man. My name is Starsky Inspires. This is Working Class Rich. And remember to always think better than the rest.